first thing we're gonna do is create this watermelon circle, and we're gonna start with the red color here. All right, so first you wanna grab your red or watermelon colored yarn, and first we're gonna just create a loop with your yarn that looks like this. And then insert your hook into this loop, grab your yarn, and grab your yarn and pull through one more time. And this is basically like a magic circle. And now what we're gonna do is in this circle, we're gonna create 10 single crochets to start out. So insert your hook into the circle, grab the yarn, and then grab the yarn, pull through both. And that's one single crochet. So now we're gonna do that 9 more times. All right, and then this is gonna be my 10th one. And when you finish your 10 single crochets, you're gonna find this tail that we have and just pull it to create the circle. So you should have something that kind of looks like that. All right, and then to finish up this circle, we're just gonna find the first single crochet that we did, so it should be this one, and insert your hook. And then you're gonna grab your yarn and make a slip stitch. All right, so to start the next round, we're gonna start with a chain 2. And all we're gonna do in this round is we're gonna put 2 double crochets into each of these single crochets that we did previously. So this first chain 2 is gonna act as 1 double crochet. So we're gonna put in another double crochet into the same stitch. Like so. And we're gonna basically do this for each single crochet stitch that we had. So find that next stitch and then just put in 2 double crochets into each of those. All right, so you should end up with something kind of like this, and just to like make sure that you did it correctly, you can count your double crochets, and you should have 20, including this chain 2 that you did here. So yeah, you should have 20 double crochets in this round, and to complete this, we're just gonna do the same thing where we find our chain 2 that we did and find the second chain. So it should be this one. Insert your hook, grab your yarn, pull through, and pull through again to make a slip stitch. So here we should have the first, or I guess the second round. All right, for this next round, we're gonna do the same exact thing as the previous one. We're gonna put 2 double crochets into each of these stitches as well. And we're gonna start by doing a chain 2, and then we're gonna add another double crochet there, and that's gonna be our first 2 double crochets. So I'll show you one more time if any of you are confused. So find the next stitch, which would be this one for us, and put in 2 double crochets into that stitch. And for this round, you should end up with 40 double crochets. All right, so I'm just completing this round, and this round again should have 40 double crochets, including the chain 2 that we did over here. And you can go ahead and count just to make sure that you got everything correct. All right, so to close this round, we're gonna go ahead and do a slip stitch again. So find the chain 2 that you did. So it's right here, and then insert your hook into the second chain, and then grab your yarn, pull through, and then pull through again, and you should have a circle that looks like this. All right, for this next round, we are gonna actually be doing only 1 double crochet into each of these stitches. Instead of the 2 that we've been doing, we're only gonna be doing 1. So start again with the chain 2 as usual, and that's gonna count as our first double crochet. And go ahead and just do 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and continue to do that for the rest of the circle. And for this round, you should end up with 40 double crochets throughout. And the reason why we're doing 1 double crochet instead of 2 here is because I found that if I keep on doing 2 double crochets, our circle will start to curl a little bit. And to make it flat, we want to just do this single double crochet into each stitch. All right, I'm finishing up the circle, and I have 40 double crochets all throughout, including this chain 2. And as always, we're gonna complete this round with a slip stitch. So find your chain 2, find the second chain that you did, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull through again for the slip stitch. Okay, cool. So this should be what your circle looks like now, and we're gonna start on the last round of this color. All right, for this final round with this color, we're gonna be doing 2 double crochets into each of these stitches. So you should end up with 80 double crochets, including your chain 2 in the beginning. So again, we're gonna do chain 2, and then we're gonna do a double crochet into that same stitch, and then move on to the next stitch, and then do 2 double crochets into that one. And this is kind of like the same, this is gonna be the same thing as you did in previous rounds, where you're just putting in 2 double crochets into each stitch. All right, so I finished the circle, and I'm gonna go ahead and find my 2 chains that I did right here. Enter your hook into the second chain, grab the yarn, pull through again to make a slip stitch. Okay, so now we are done with the circle, and if it's a little bit floppy, all you can do is kind of just like stretch it out a bit, and it should kind of mold into the circle that you want. But yeah, so we're done with this color, so we can go ahead. I'm gonna chain 1, and then I'm gonna cut this yarn off. And I'm gonna pull my hook. There we go. Awesome. So we have your first circle. Okay, now grab your white or cream yarn, and we're gonna basically be creating this part next. All right, so for this next round, insert your hook where there's the tail, and for this round, we're gonna try to like hide our tails so that we don't have to stitch them in later. Grab your white or cream yarn and pull through. All right, so for this round, all we're gonna do is put a half double crochet into each of these stitches. So to begin, we are just gonna do chain 1, and then I'm gonna put in a half double crochet in here into the same stitch. All right, and then to hide the yarns, all we're gonna do, or to hide the tails, all we're gonna do, so grab your yarn to start your half double crochet, and then you want these tails to be on top of your hook, like so. And this will basically save us a lot of time in stitching our yarns in later. So as you can see, again, the tails are above our hook. And for those of you who don't know how to do a half double crochet stitch, I can show you right here. All you do is grab your yarn through your stitch, and then grab your yarn on this side, pull through, and then grab your yarn again, and you're gonna pull through all three. And that's a half double crochet. So go ahead and keep doing that all throughout for this round. And to end this round, we're just gonna do a slip stitch again. So put your hook into our chain one that we did, and then pull through again. And we're gonna be cutting this yarn because we're done with this color. So chain one, and go ahead, get your scissors, and then pull through to end that. And this is what you should have so far. Okay, so next we're gonna be working on this light green portion of the watermelon, and I actually only had this yarn at home, so that's why I'm using it, but I would recommend that you use a light green yarn of the same weight as your other yarns, but this is just what I had at home, so I just went with it. Okay, this next round with the light green is gonna be basically the same thing as we did with the white yarn here, and we're just gonna be creating half double crochets all throughout this circle with the green. So go ahead, we're gonna try to hide our tails again. So start where you cut off or right before you cut off your yarn, and go ahead, get your light green yarn, pull through, and go ahead and chain one to begin. Okay, and then we're gonna do a half double crochet into that same stitch. And then go ahead and do that all throughout this circle. And remember to have the tails on top of your hook so that we can hide our yarn. And we won't have to thread it in later. All right, so now that I've completed this round, all I'm gonna do is end it with a slip stitch. So find that chain one that you did in the beginning, insert your hook, grab your yarn, and then pull through one more time. And I'm gonna go ahead and chain one, and then cut my yarn here, and then pull through. Awesome, so now we have most of our watermelon done. All we need to do is add the last darker green yarn. All right, so now we're gonna wanna create this portion of the watermelon. So go ahead and find any dark green yarn that we have. I'm gonna be using this one right here. And I'll link below all the yarn colors and brands that I'm using below. Just like with the round before, we're gonna try to hide our tails here. And we're also just gonna do the same thing where we're gonna do a half double crochet in each stitch all throughout. All right, so let's go ahead, insert our hook, grab your yarn, pull through, chain one, to start. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put in a half double crochet into that same stitch. Pull through all 3. Awesome. And now I'm just basically gonna go all throughout and do the same thing. So insert your hook, and to hide the yarn, remember the tails need to be above the crochet hook. All right, and to end this round, all we're gonna do is again, find that chain 1 you did, insert your hook, grab your yarn, pull through, and then pull through that again to create a slip stitch. And then we are done with this green color, so we're gonna go ahead, chain 1, cut your yarn, and then pull your hook, and then tighten that. Awesome, so you should have something that looks kind of like this. So now let's go ahead and add in the seeds. So we're gonna go ahead and add in the seeds now. Okay, so for this part, you'll need a black skein or any type of dark brown yarn that kind of resembles seeds in watermelon. And you'll also need a crochet needle or whatever you use to weave in the ends of your yarn. Also for this next part where we're adding in the seeds, just make sure that all of your red ends are weaved in. Okay, so go ahead and insert your yarn into your needle. And grab your watermelon circle that you've just created. Okay, so we're gonna only be putting in our seeds in this section. So if you count 1, 2, 3, it's gonna be in the 3rd round that we have created. All right, so go ahead, insert your needle right about here, if you can see that. And it should be at the top of your double crochet of the 3rd round that you created. And then go ahead and insert your needle again at the bottom of that same double crochet. So it should be right about there. And just go ahead and do that again. So to make the seed a little thicker, enter your needle. And we've created our first seed. So now what you're gonna wanna do is basically, since this portion, this back side is actually gonna be shown when we do our reversible bag trick. So we're gonna wanna actually hide our string. So all we need to do is just thread it through. And you wanna do it 5 double crochets apart. So just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is where our needle will enter. All right. Okay, awesome. And then go ahead, enter your needle at the top of the double crochet, so right about here. Pull, and then you can come back to the front to see where you should put the needle next. So go ahead, put your needle in here, the bottom of that double crochet, and do the same thing again to make the seed a little thicker. Okay, cool. So that's our second seed. And then we're gonna do the same thing where we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then enter our needle here. So let's just weave this in. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should come out right here. So we're basically gonna just keep doing this all throughout until we get about 8 seeds. Okay, I have 7 right now, so I'm gonna just do my last one on camera. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is where my needle should come out. So to end this, I'm just gonna weave my black thread in. Okay, cool. So you should end up with something that kind of looks like this, and you should have 8 seeds. And basically what we're gonna do is I can go ahead and cut this yarn, and I'm gonna just thread in these 2 pieces, but make sure you're unable to see the black yarn. So basically do what we did in between each of these seeds. Okay, so you're gonna wanna do this whole process one more time so that you get 2 of these watermelons, and so that your bag is foldable. So as you can see, this is where all of this netting will go. Yeah, go ahead and you can rewind the video and create the same exact thing one more time. Okay, so now you should have 2 watermelon circles that look like this. Okay, so now that we have both of your watermelon circles, we're gonna go ahead and create this pouch part, and we're gonna go ahead and attach them together, and we're gonna leave this opening for the actual bag portion to fit in there. Okay, so now go ahead and get your circles together, and we're gonna be placing right sides together. Okay, so the right sides are the ones that you worked on. So the wrong sides is going to be whatever you threaded your yarn into. Okay, so get your right sides and put them together. So it should look like something like this. And to attach these 2 together, all we're going to do is place a single crochet into each stitch all along. But basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our green yarn, and you can actually connect them with any yarn. I just thought this would look neater because it kind of just continues on to the last round that we did here. So yeah, you can basically start anywhere. So I'm gonna start over here. And what you wanna do to create this opening, we're gonna count 20 stitches from where we're gonna start. So I'm gonna go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And right here is our 20th stitch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in our stitch marker here. And that's where we'll know to end and keep this portion open. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and remember where I'm gonna start right there. I'm gonna take my yarn, put my crochet hook through both, grab my yarn, pull through, and then I'm just gonna chain 1. And then I'm gonna do a single crochet into the same stitch. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing along these 2 circles so that we attach these 2 together. All right, so I've reached my stitch marker and I can go ahead and take this out. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm only gonna be working on this front watermelon circle portion. So just forget about this back part and we're just gonna be working on this. And all we're gonna be doing is placing 1 single crochet into each of these stitches. Okay, and then once you come to this part, all you have to do is put in a slip stitch here to complete your this round. And I'm gonna cut off this yarn, so chain 1 and then you can go ahead and cut the yarn and pull through. Okay, awesome. So now we have this pouch and now we can go ahead and move on to crocheting the netting part. Okay, so this is the side that we worked on. As you can see, this one was the side that didn't get the single crochet all throughout this portion of the circle. So now we're gonna flip this over and we're gonna start working on this portion and this side. All right? Okay, so go ahead and find the stitch, the last stitch that you added a single crochet to. Should be this one. As you can see, this is the single crochet that's attached to this portion of the circle. So go ahead and find that. And we're gonna be working on adding our netting starting from this stitch. So this is the stitch that we found, and right above it is where we're gonna be starting to add our netting. Okay, so now that we've found where we're gonna start our netting, we are gonna go ahead and grab our red or watermelon color yarn that you use for the middle. And obviously you guys can pick any yarn you would like, but this is just how I did it in the original video. And then I'm gonna go ahead, grab my crochet hook, insert my hook in that stitch that we found, grab the yarn, pull through, and I'm just gonna chain 1. And for the netting, all we're gonna do is we're just gonna do a single crochet, chain 5, skip 2, and then single crochet, chain 5, skip 2. And I can show you right here how we'll do that. So I'm gonna go ahead, do a single crochet into that same stitch that we just did. and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're gonna skip this one, and insert our hook here. And then do a chain, or not a chain, sorry, a single crochet again. As you can see, we've skipped 2 stitches, and we've attached our yarn into the 3rd stitch. So I'll show you again. Chain 5, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then go ahead, skip, insert our hook, grab your yarn, and then there's a single crochet. So just do this all throughout, and I'll show you what to do when you come to this portion. Okay, so I'm about to enter this portion of the circle, and I'm gonna do the same exact thing where I chain 5 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I skip these 2, 1, 2, and then enter my hook here. And I'm actually gonna hide this tail by putting it over my hook so that I don't have to deal with it later. And then I'm gonna do a single crochet. And just keep on going along this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2, 1, 2. Insert your hook. And then single crochet. Skip 2, 1, 2, insert your hook, single crochet, and then so we are about to end right here. So we're going to do things a little differently. We're not going to chain 5. We're actually going to be chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a half double crochet into this single crochet that we started out with right there. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook, grab your yarn, and then grab your yarn again and pull through all 3. So your hook should be somewhat in the middle of this loop that we have here. And so that's how we're gonna end every round. So next, or before we go on to what we have next, you should have something that kind of looks like this for the first round. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by doing a single crochet into this loop. So you have your crochet hook here, just insert your hook into this loop, grab your yarn, and then grab your yarn and pull through. And then chain 5 as usual, 3, 4, 5. Insert your hook into the next loop, grab your yarn, and do a single crochet. And as you can see, we're starting to build up the netting for the bag. And just go ahead and do this all throughout until you get to this point. And at this point, you'll want to do the thing that we did here. And you'll just want to do chain 3 and then do a half double crochet into this area. Okay, so you can add as many of these rows as you'd like, depending on how big or small you want your bag to be. And I'm just gonna do the rest of the red rows off camera. And then I'll come back and show you how you can change colors so that you can add the white part and then the light green and then the dark green into handles. Okay, so in my original market bag that I put up on TikTok, I did 16 rows of the red or the watermelon color yarn. But for this one, I'm gonna do less than 16 rows, but if you wanted to make the exact same one that I have on TikTok, then you can go ahead and do 16 of these instead of the amount that I will do in this video. All right, so I'm gonna end my red yarn here just because I actually ran out of red yarn, sadly, but you can keep on going and make as many rows as you would like. And again, in this bag that was on TikTok, I made 16 of this color rows. So again, if you want to make your bag bigger, you can make more rows. If you want to make it smaller, you can make less. So I'm going to just go ahead and show you how to change colors. And let me go ahead and end this, this red part. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to do a half double crochet into this single crochet that we did at the beginning. So I'm gonna yarn over, insert my hook, grab the yarn, pull through, and then grab the yarn and pull through all 3. Okay, and then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chain 1, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cut my yarn here. And then I'm gonna pull my hook. Okay, so to change colors, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my white yarn and I'm gonna grab my hook, and let's see, where did I end? There we go. So I ended here, so I'm gonna insert my hook in this loop, grab my yarn, pull through, and I'm just gonna create a knot here. So that it is secure. Okay, so once you have your knot, you can go ahead and grab your hook again, insert it into this loop, grab your yarn, pull through. I'm just gonna chain 1. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do a single crochet stitch, like so. And then you're gonna do the same exact process as you did with your red yarn. So I'm gonna go ahead, chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and then insert my hook into the next loop, and then do a single crochet, and then chain 5, single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, all the way until I get to here. And then that's where I'm gonna do my chain 3, and then I'm gonna do my half double crochet into my single crochet that I started with. And this is the same exact process, it's just gonna be a different color. So go ahead and do that, and I will come back when I'm about here to remind you how to do this ending stitch and how to continue from there. Okay, so I'm coming to this part of this row. So all I'm gonna do is chain 3 instead of chain 5. And then I'm gonna do a half double crochet into the single crochet that we started out with our white yarn. And then pull through all 3. And I'm gonna do one more row with the white yarn. So I'm just gonna insert my hook into this loop and do a single crochet. And then chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then insert my hook into the next loop. And keep doing this until you get to about here, and that's where you're gonna wanna do your chain 3 and half double crochet to be inserted into this. And you can make as many or as little rows of this as you want. It's definitely customizable. Okay, so to change colors, I'm gonna grab my new color yarn and I'm gonna start where we left off. So that's gonna be at this loop. And I'm gonna insert my yarn here and I'm just gonna tie a knot to really secure your yarn. And I'm gonna try to tie it in the middle of this loop. And we're gonna do the same thing as we did with the white, but I'll just show you again. So insert your hook in this loop, grab your yarn, pull through. I'm gonna chain 1, and then I'm gonna do a single crochet into this loop. And then I'm gonna chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm gonna go into the next loop, single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next loop, single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the same exact process that you did with the red yarn and the white yarn. So keep doing that until you get to the end here. And when you get to this point, you're gonna do the same exact thing to end the round, and that's to do chain 3 and then a half double crochet into your single crochet that you started out with. And then let's do one more single crochet. And then since we've come back to the beginning, we're gonna again chain 3 instead of 5. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do a half double crochet into the single crochet that we started with. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm done with this color, so I'm gonna go ahead, chain 1, grab my scissors, cut off the yarn, and then pull my hook through and tighten this. So this is what it's looking like so far. And now finally, I'm gonna add my last color. I'm gonna add the dark green. And basically to add another color, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna start where we ended our last color, and we're going to just tie a knot in the middle of this loop with your new color. Like so. So you should have something like that. And to start this row, we're gonna do the same thing where we insert our hook into this loop, pull your yarn through. I'm gonna do a chain 1, and then I'm gonna do a single crochet into that same loop, just like so. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the same exact thing we've been doing for each round, and that's gonna be chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. And then insert your hook into the next loop, single crochet, and then chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Insert your hook into the next loop, single crochet, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And keep doing this throughout until you get to the end. And as always, remember when you get to the end, you want to do a chain 3 instead of a chain 5. And you want to do a half double crochet into that first single crochet that you made. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do one more row with the dark green, and then I'll show you how to put the handles on. So I'm gonna start with a single crochet, chain 5, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next stitch, and chain 5. And keep doing this until you get to about here, and I'll show you how to attach handles onto this next. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and start making the handles. And I just finished my dark green yarn, so I finished this row, but I didn't cut off my yarn yet because I'm gonna be using the same color for my handles. All right, so you should have something that kind of looks like this. I'll detach my stitch marker. So you should have ended up with something that looks like that, right? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of count. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna count 6 of these loops from where my hook is, and I'm gonna put a stitch marker onto this 7th loop right here, okay? So from the 7th loop, I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 again, and I'm gonna find that 7th one, and I'm gonna attach my stitch marker so that these two are together. So again, this is the 7th loop from my hook right here. And then the other one that we have our stitch marker attached to is the 7th one from 7th loop from the first stitch marker that we attached, okay? So yeah, just attach these together so we know where this portion is, okay? And then from there, you want to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's where you want to attach your next stitch marker. And then here we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Cool. So once you have your stitch markers on, now we can start making the handle portion. Okay, so first what we're gonna do, we ended our row here, so we're gonna do a single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then do 1 more single crochet into that stitch. And then you're gonna do 1 single crochet into this middle portion. So you should have done 3 single crochets so far. Okay, so for the handle part, I'm gonna chain 40. And you can do more chains or less chains, depending on how long or short you want your handle to be. And 40 is gonna be on the shorter side. So if you want a longer one, I would definitely recommend doing more than 40. I can show you on this one. On this previous one that I did, I think I did 60 chains. So if you want something of this size, then I would do 60 chains instead of 40 chains. But for this bag, since I'm making it smaller, I'm gonna do 40 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. Okay, so I did 40 chains, and then I'm gonna skip all of these loops, and then I'm gonna go ahead and find where I have my stitch marker, and that's right over here. And I'm gonna insert my crochet hook into the single crochet right before where my stitch marker is. So I'm gonna go ahead, insert my hook. I'm gonna go ahead and insert my hook right here, and I'm just gonna do a single crochet, like so. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 5 single crochets into each of these loops, or into this loop, and then I'm gonna do another single crochet right in the middle here. And I'm gonna follow that until I get to the other side where my stitch marker is. So let me show you. So I'll do, insert my hook into the loop, 1 single crochet, that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna remove my stitch marker off of that loop that I was working on, but I'm gonna keep it on the other loop, on the other side, just so I know where to end. Okay, so we did 5 in this one loop, but now we're gonna do 1 more single crochet in the middle here into our previous single crochet that we did. And then again, we entered this loop and we're gonna do 5 single crochets into here. That's 3, 4, and 5. And then go ahead and do 1 single crochet into this stitch. And then again, do 5 single crochets here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then do 1 single crochet in the middle here. And just continue doing this process until you get to your stitch marker. And then do 5 more where your stitch marker should be. So it should be in this loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now you can go ahead and remove your stitch marker so it's not in our way anymore. And then do 1 last single crochet right in here. Like so. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start making the second handle. So just like we did here, we're gonna do 40 single crochets and attach it to the point where we have our other stitch marker. And again, you can do more or less chains here, but I just decided that 40 was good for me. But yeah, so go ahead and start chaining. So I'm gonna start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 38, 39, and 40. All right, now that I did my 40 chains, I'm gonna go ahead and find where my stitch marker is. It's right over here, and I'm going to insert my hook right into this single crochet stitch that we previously did, right before my chain, my stitch marker. Insert your hook, and then go ahead and do a single crochet, like so. And then we're gonna do the same exact process as before, and we're gonna do 5 single crochets in here, 1 single crochet in here, 5 in here, 1 in here, 5 in here, 1 in here, and keep doing that until you reach this portion where you started your first handle. Okay, so I'm starting to come to the beginning portion where we first attached our first handle. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna again put in a single crochet right in there, and then since we already put in 2 single crochets at the beginning. We're only gonna just be putting 3 more single crochets instead of 5. And then to complete that, all we're gonna do is insert our hook and do a slip stitch from where we first started. So let me show you that again. Find this stitch, and then go ahead, insert your hook, and then do a slip stitch. So it should look like something like that. Okay, so next we're gonna wanna strengthen these handles. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a single crochet into each one of these chains that we did, and we're gonna go all around and do single crochets into each of these stitches that we did as well on the sides. So to start, I'm gonna do a chain 1. And then I'm gonna put in a single crochet into this stitch right here, and then another single crochet into the next stitch. And then if you see, we have our chain right here. I'm gonna insert my hook so that you should see 2 loops on the top and 1 loop on the bottom. And then grab your yarn and do a single crochet. And basically, if you have your chain at a side angle, then you'll see this pretty clearly. You'll see 1 loop at the bottom and 2 at the top. All right, so I'm at the end of my chain, just finishing that up. And now what you're gonna do after you've done all of those single crochets, you're just gonna continue. So just add a single crochet into each of these stitches. All right, so I've reached the point where I've come to the handle or the chains that we did. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did with the other handle. We're gonna insert our hook right here so that there's 2 loops on top and 1 loop on the bottom. And then we're gonna put in a single crochet. And we're just gonna go ahead and do that all throughout this chain. So keep doing that, and when you get to here, we'll continue putting in chains all across, or single crochets, not chains, single crochets all throughout this area. Okay, so once you get to the end, basically like where you started your second round of single crochets, all you're gonna do is do a slip stitch. So insert your hook into where you started, and then go ahead and do a slip stitch right here. And that is it for your bag. So now what I'm gonna do is chain 1 and then go ahead and cut your yarn. And pull through. Okay, so this is the bag. Obviously mine is gonna be probably smaller than yours because I ran out of this color and I just wanted to show you how to do it. But it should look something kind of like this if you did these amounts of rows. And basically, I can show you how you're gonna go ahead and fold it. So to fold it, all you need to do is you can kind of stick your hand into this pouch section and then grab the netting and then reverse it. so that everything goes in this pouch section.